All right, in this episode we have a lot of ground to cover, over 400 nautical miles, but first.
Cruise on Lana, it's a caliber 40, pretty vessel.
So if you're new here, just a quick recap. We've been in the Bahamas for the last cruising season, and now it's time to say goodbye to Spanish Wells, the place we've called home over the last 2 months. So in this episode we have some fishing to do. Some navigational tips to share. Cross the Gulf Stream under spinnaker. Watch out for a norther coming our way. And essentially, just spend 4 days at sea.
So yummy. Prep them up, put them in the refrigerator, and then I just kind of pan heat them.
So we always love starting passage off with Nancy's amazing passage burritos, but the plan here is simple. We're leaving Spanish Wells and we're going all the way north to Brunswick, Georgia.
There's nothing but horizon around us. Isn't that gorgeous? We're motor sailing at about 5 knots of speed. There's about 6 knots of true wind, creating about 8 knots of parent wind. So enough to hold the Genoa out. We got it reefed really deeply here, you can see. It's a 135, and we got it reefed down to about 100. And before that, we were only going 4.5, so the sails, they're helping us out big time. Wind is a little ahead of the beam, and it should die this afternoon. Straight motor, a couple hours tonight, and then the wind kicks in Friday, and that'd be tomorrow. Nice 12 knots of northeast wind, and it's that northern component that's causing us to go to, West End. Anyway, I just checked the lures. There's no seaweed on them, and I'm debating changing one of them out. We haven't caught any fish yet. Libby and I are having a great time just reading books in the cockpit and about to break into some of our chips. We have 1 bag per person per day, so that's gonna be lovely. Check this view out though. Ooh, flying fish right over here. Sorry, I'm on the GoPro, so I'm pretty sure you can't see them. Anyway, it's a good time out here.
We are having the best sail. It's just so beautiful. I love it.
Alright, so we got a fish on. This is the deep water big lure. I was in the middle of my nap and Nancy's like, "Man, you got a fish on." And I look up, the line is broke holding the reel on. It's just spinning out. So I grabbed it right before the last of the line. Meanwhile, Nancy's at the helm, Mocha's barking, and we got a freighter bearing down on us. Check that out. We're about 30 minutes into the catch. Feels pretty heavy. I handed it off to Nancy, I got it back, and all of a sudden there's nothing but grass on it.
Oh, don't blame Nancy.
bait fish. Oh, God.
Ouch, that hurt me. Oh, damn it.
What happened?
Oh, the line, I was holding it.
And now, try not to damage anything. He's at least 30 pounds.
He's heavy.
He's at least 30.
Finger feels that he was heavy.
I can manhandle him on, but it's going to make a hell of a mess, so I'm just going to take my time.
Do you want this black bucket?
It's too big for a bucket. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my time, and then I'm going to
Forget you still have a lure in her. She's not going anywhere.
whew.
Can't go all the way.
That was it's a beautiful fish. It's a gorgeous fish. I'm exhausted. Pretty good fillet here, look at this. Down to the bone! Back to Mother Nature. Well, good morning and welcome to the ocean.
Good morning.
What you working on there?
Coffee. Coffee is a must.
Yes, coffee's a must. We've been awake. Well, I've been awake since 2 a.m. I did a 2 to 6 watch. Nancy did the 10 to 2, so she's fresh out of bed. It's 7 a.m. The sun is bright already. And this is the beginning, or day 2 of what was going to be a 4-day passage. Things have changed, as they always do on the ocean. Let me give you a quick update on that. So we're looking at 400 and something nautical miles to... We're heading to Brunswick, Georgia. But we're going to break it up into 2 legs and do a little stop in Fort Pierce. Most likely just to get the Mexican food there. Some of the best Mexican food this side of Texas. But that plan has changed too. There was a front sitting, coming off the Carolinas, off the continent, and it has shifted a little further south. So what was going to be 3 straight days of southeast breeze pushing us straight to Fort Pierce, all the way from Spanish Wells, Eleuthera, is now, well, 24 hours into it. We have another 14 hours to go. We're going to stop in West End because we're getting a north wind in the Gulf Stream, which is not a good combo. That leaves us with today, not much wind at all. So we've got 6 knots of wind, and we're just kind of got full sail out. We got the Genoa all the way out, main sail, and we're going 3 knots, probably mostly to a current. We would fly the spinnaker, but we're a little bit upwind, around 80 degrees, right on the border of where we can fly our spinnaker. But you know what? Clear skies in the summer with no thunderstorms. This is exactly what we wanted when we left Spanish Wells. Maybe a little more wind, but thanks for watching our video. How's it working down below, Nance?
It was great until the wind picked up, and then whoosh, time to come up.
So office space is good for motoring and calm seas?
Motoring in calm seas, and when you can leave the hatches open, it gets warm, and then instantly you feel a little, ugh.
Yes. So yeah, we learned a few years ago, close reaching anytime sailing upwind, no hatches open. Remember the time in Offit's Bay we got swamped by that motorboat weight?
Yes, I remember. I had to clean it all up.
Oh my gosh, was that Olivia's bed? It soaked Olivia's bed. We had to buy her a new mattress. That was a couple years ago. So anywho, this is beautiful. This is Bahamas sailing. This is amazing. I'm trying to get you down there so you can see out the window. Look at that. So that red light is the moonrise. Oh my God, it's so awesome. All right, so we made anchor here in West End. Whatever, we're in paradise, so who cares? Check out this red moon again. All right, so we have a 2 nights here at anchor, watching out for the north wind in the Gulf Stream, and it's just beautiful. Eating up some of the fried fish on that mahi that we caught a few days ago. Time with friends and rest. This is the way to do a proper coastal cruise.
Goodbye, Bahamas.
Bye. Yeah, this is probably one of the best anchorages in the Bahamas, and hopefully it remains an anchorage and access to sailors like us who are waiting out weather. We are heading west. So we have 84 miles on the docket and a light 10 to 12 knots of breeze. Crossing the Gulf Stream this evening around sunset. We've got about 30 miles, maybe 20 before we get to it. And it should be lovely. Conditions are great. We're rigged up ready for the spinnaker. Apart from that, this is goodbye Bahamas. So thank you Bahamas for being so amazing to us. This is gorgeous. This is why we love this place. Look at this. It was a 30-minute ordeal getting the spinnaker up. Like, we haven't even turned the engine off yet. We're just kind of floating along. So we didn't know quite the wind angle because it's right behind us. Now we're heading straight to our destination. 284 is the destination to Fort Pierce from West End. It's not a direct shot, but it allows you to go across the current, and that current will push you north. It's about a 3-knot current on average through 20 miles of it. 20 miles at 3 knots. It's like 6 hours. It's pushing you north at 3 knots across those 20 miles. That means you're going to be going north another 18 nautical miles. So you're maybe heading 280, but you're going to head north as well. And probably get some speed increase, so that's good. I'm out of breath. Oh, that wore me out. Nancy made us some killer burgers. Olivia's doing her nails. Look at these nails. What? Good job, boo. Mocha's sleeping. It's her birthday. Happy birthday, Mocha.
Happy birthday, Mocha.
And we have the spinnaker sailing. This is lovely. I mean, you can tell we're sailing, but it almost feels like an anchor. There's still movement though. It's nice.
Plan is to spinnaker sail until 4 o'clock if the wind will allow us to get at least 2 knots. More is better. And then at 4 o'clock we can take it down right before it starts to sunset, and we can motor for, what do we say, 15 hours. Hopefully there will be a wind though. But if we need to motor, we have the fuel for that, and we'll make it right into Fort Pierce by 7 a.m. tomorrow. Sleep a little bit and go have some Mexican food. I'm so excited.
I'm excited too. Mexican food. Woohoo!
So somebody decided to take a nap and leave me on watch. Let me show you Mr. Napper. And while he's napping, I get a top speed on the spinnaker. And now I'm not paying attention. Matt!
Oh, so much for napping, jeez. So much for napping.
So I was bragging about my spinnaker skills. And I like started blowing out, but nothing's changed. Like the wind angle's the same, the amount of wind is the same. So I Matt it. He lost his napping. Anyway, my top speed was 5 knots, but I really have to pay attention because I don't know what's happening with this thing. We'll check back in soon.
Look at that. Looks like we're going pretty fast. We have about 5 knots of speed and 8 to 10 knots of wind. Nancy's at the helm doing a great job. And been going about an hour and a half, 2 hours now. About 2 or 3 more hours with the spinnaker. This is lovely.
How was your nap?
No nap. Couldn't get the nap in. But this is good sailing right here. This kind of wind, normally we wouldn't get much speed at all. Particularly how deep downwind we're going, about 140 degrees. Up to about 120. Just the wind is a little shifty because it's so light. But this is great. Look at this. So anyway, we'll catch up with you around sunset. We'll probably put this down around that time. And we'll see you in the darkness. So we've learned a little bit about how the autopilot and the spinnaker work together. Generally our autopilot, we have it set at a sensitivity of 5, which is halfway. I believe it's half. I think it's a 10-point scale. I don't know. Anyway, here we are. The wind's gusting. And we're getting 5.5 knots of speed. But the autopilot allows the boat to turn up into the wind, which usually that's a good thing. When we have our sails out, it kind of spills the wind some. We speed up and then it turns back into the course. With the spinnaker, it's not good. We turn up past 80 degrees and the whole thing collapses and we, Nancy has the, oh Matt moment. Matt. So we've learned we must run the autopilot on wind vane mode. So it's tracking an angle to the wind. And I think I need to figure out what sensitivity to put it on because it still turns up. But not as much if you set the autopilot on heading mode. So it's turning up about 15 to 20 degrees when we get those gusts. And it takes a while before it turns back in and this several times the spinnaker has collapsed. We don't want that to happen. Anyway, I'm back at the helm just watching it and all that. So we're learning that lesson with the spinnaker. We're learning a little bit about trimming the sail. We've learned, first of all, I'm going to change where this block is. And we've learned the sheet needs to go pretty far out. It doesn't look at all like the Genoa or the jib. It really goes out. And the closer we pull it in, the less power it gets. So it lets the wind, I guess, slip through.
Well, the tack goes in further than
And we got better speed pulling the tack line in, so keeping that tighter to the boat as well. So one of the things about choosing this light air to sail in, which light air, it's been 6 to 12 knots of wind, is the sea state is beautiful. And we're heading towards the Gulf Stream, so the dreaded Gulf Stream, and it's absolutely lovely. So I'm down here about to cook us some food. It's not quite like dinner time yet, but it's 5 p.m. and I want a snack. Well, good evening. We're out, just made it through the Gulf Stream and we're about 20 nautical miles from Florida coast. I was out there, I just woke up, but before I went down, it was around 9:30 p.m. It's now, what is it, 2 a.m.? 2 a.m. Nancy did the 10 to 2. Before I went down around 9:30, about 30, well, it would have been then about 40 miles from shore, you could see America. You're like, welcome back to America. You see the horizon and there's no stars. It just glows with the orange street lights, and you can just see the Florida glow from all the streets and the cities. And I totally forgot that that's a thing. We've just been in the Bahamas so long, and there's not a whole lot of light, so the horizons are dark and lots of stars. I forgot that. Forgot that America lights up the sky at night. So it's kind of my welcome back to America.
We were doing 6 knots the whole time, so the boat was going fast, and Livy helped me out on my night watch for a few hours, and I went by fast. Now it's time to go to bed.
That's good. And for my watch, the wind came back. Wonder how that worked out. Oh, we're sailing at 3.
Whatever. You don't have any wind right now. You're pretending.
Well, we're sailing at 3 knots.
That's
and
still the Gulf Stream.
here's my secret for staying awake on passage. And it's my watch. Big old bag of potato chips. And big old Coca-Cola. Each of us have 2 sodas per day while we're on passage, so it's a nice little treat. For the next hour, I'm gonna munch on these chips and drink this soda. It's gonna be good. Ooh, that'll wake you up. The moon out tonight. Isn't that pretty? Got the moon. Look at the sails there. Look at this. Alright, where's he at again? He's like chasing him with the camera. Here he comes. Alright, we're heading into the Fort Pierce entrance. We'll be at anchor soon. I got one thing on my mind. Mexican food and margaritas. What do you think?
Mexican food! Yes! Margaritas.
So we've made it to day 3 of our passage, and it was an absolute pleasure stopping at West End, because now we have a perfect weather conditions, sunny skies, and we even were able to squeeze in our Tex-Mex. So that was super, super cool. But there's still a choice to be made, and that's a choice, one of the choices that accompany coastal cruising when your path is dictated by a landform.
All right, so that's what's ahead of us. Conditions have changed, and we just downloaded a new forecast, And it's supposed to be clear skies the next 2 days all the way to Georgia. Looks like we have now thunderstorms from Cape Canaveral all the way up to the Florida coast, the border. So we're sitting here discussing it. We've been talking for about 15 minutes now. Do we spend 2 nights in 1 day sailing, motoring, fighting Florida 30, 40 knot wind squalls? Or do we take Cape Canaveral, which is 20 nautical miles away, and rest at anchor tonight and get a fresh forecast in the morning and see what the future holds? I can tell you what we would do if we were in the islands right now. We would tuck in and just enjoy our time. But there was something about getting back here in the United States where we feel like we have to get a goal, a destination, and get to it. And so that's what we're struggling with right now. Conditions have changed, and there's a little more swell coming in from the Atlantic. It's not as comfortable. You got the squalls, you've got thunderstorms in the forecast. What would you do? What would be the smart choice? Get to your destination sooner? Maybe have good hamburgers there? I'm thinking about that right now. Or do you duck out and say, I'm not riding through thunderstorms for 2 nights in 1 day? If you got the option to do it, I have a coastal cruising sailboat. I have that option. That's a pretty cool thing. I don't know. We still have to decide. What do you think, Nan?
I think when we were torturing ourselves to have plans to get to a destination on the thorny path, we said no more plans. So if the conditions change and we have an option to do something different, then we can do something different, or we can choose not to do something different. So I don't know. I'm like don't ask me, I'm okay either way.
Drop us your thoughts in the comments. What would you do? And we have to make a decision. There's a fishing boat coming our way. All right, welcome aboard what is likely to be our last night at sea. We did duck in at Cape Canaveral. We put 1 day in on the ICW. Did 10 hours, 55 miles. And then we came out of the Ponce de Leon Inlet here in North Florida. We're sailing now, getting close to Jacksonville here at sunset. And the breeze finally kicked in a little bit, so we're doing a nice 4 knot slow sailing. We only have about 65 nautical miles left to go. We're headed to Brunswick, Georgia. And so we're gonna sail through the night, make it an easy entrance. We're trying to time it for the incoming tide tomorrow around noon. So we're taking our time to get there. Have that nice tide to pull us in to Brunswick. This is beautiful. We caught a mackerel today. Big daddy. Like a mackerel. Caught him on my new favorite lure that I bought in the Bahamas. Overall, it's been good. It's a good day.
Have I really been so crazy to think your love was mine?